Sometimes I think about this idea of blowing up my watch collection and thinking through what my collection would look like if I started from scratch today. I think it's a fun idea because after many years as a watch collector, I've built up a lot of preferences and knowledge about the watch collecting world that I think would drastically change how I begin collecting today. And it's that thought exercise that I want to really talk through in today's video. And as part of this concept, I really have three major goals. Number one, I want to build a 3-watch collection. Number two, I want it to be under $2,000. I think that's a pretty fair amount of money to build a 3-watch collection. I think that can certainly get you some pretty good value without breaking the bank in the grand scheme of watch collecting. And number three, we just want a collection that's relatively versatile and can handle a variety of situations. I'm targeting an everyday watch, a dive watch, and a dress watch to kind of cover all of our bases. So let's just jump right into it with the everyday watch as part of this new collection I am building. And this pick might be a bit random to some, but I think it's a great watch, and I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Traska Commuter. When picking out an everyday watch, there are a couple things that I personally look for. Number one is, of course, a versatile design. You want a watch that can dress up or dress down depending on the circumstances and never really looks out of place. Number two, I also really like a stainless steel bracelet for that durability factor, and ideally one that has an on-the-fly adjustment system that's just going to make it more comfortable to wear every single day. Number three is some decent water resistance, maybe 100 meters or more. Just something that's going to make you feel comfortable wearing the watch every single day in rainy or snowy conditions. Last but not least, and this is maybe not necessary, but I think a date convocation is always nice on a watch you're going to wear every single day. I truly think the Traska Commuter has all of the features that I just mentioned and then some, and that's what really makes it such an outstanding everyday watch. And it's also important here to mention the price point. This watch comes in at $700, and for an everyday piece with the quality I think this watch personally has, that's a pretty good deal in my opinion. There's also just a lot of variety when it comes to the Traska Commuter. There's a 34, 36, and 38mm case size. There's a lot of dial options, and all of them come with either a date or no date option as well. So a lot of choices to choose from. And again, I really think this watch just encapsulates a great everyday piece and kind of the closest thing to like maybe an Omega Aquaterra or some of these other really good higher end everyday watches that you're going to get for the money. I truly think that. I don't want to sound sort of exaggerative here, but I really think that this is a really, really nice deal in the sub $1,000 space for an everyday watch. And one really cool thing about Traska is that all of their watches actually have an anti-scratch proprietary coating, which makes these watches really stand the test of time even better. And that's just another thing that makes the Commuter a really, really nice daily watch in my opinion. Like I said, for $700, this just seems like an absolute steal of an everyday piece, can handle anything that you throw at it. On-the-fly adjustment, 100 meters of water resistance, different dial colors, different size options. It's just a really good deal in my opinion. Again, maybe Traska isn't the most talked about brand in the world. It's obviously still a smaller micro brand, if you will, but I think it's a really, really nice brand to consider for an everyday watch. Next up here, I'd like to talk about a dive watch for the collection that we're building. I think every collection needs a dive watch, and the pick I would like to bring up here is the Baltic Aquascaphe MK2. Yes, I know, another micro brand pick, but I think this watch, similar to the Traska, is a really, really good watch with a lot of really great features that make it a better value for money than a lot of the big brands out there. So let's just start with some of the basics with the Baltic Aquascaphe MK2. First and foremost, this thing comes in around $750, and very similar to Traska, has a lot of different dial color options, complication options, and size options. So with this particular watch, you have a 37mm case size option and a 39.5mm option. You also have, I believe, 4 different options for colors, and you also have a date and no date version. Ironically, this watch and the previous Traska share the same Miyota 9039 movement. Definitely nothing overly complicated or special, but will get the job done and should be easy to service, which is a nice advantage. You also have some different bracelets and straps to choose for the watch, some nice variety there, although some of the bracelets will cost a bit more money. And overall, with a sapphire crystal and a sapphire bezel, a really nice retro-inspired design all put together, I think you have a really great value watch here as well. And it's that beautiful retro-inspired design that really is what made me choose this watch for this collection here. And I think really just in general, when you're looking at watches under $1,000, I think the looks and the aesthetics really do matter the most because you know you're not going to get any movements or technical features that are going to be so crazy impressive in that price point. So what I think you can really prioritize for that money is really great materials and a really great design. And like I said, I think this watch really does have it all. Great construction, great materials, great look. Yes, the movement is really not going to be that special, but that does help in terms of long-term servicing costs, and you get some great variety as well. A lot of different colors, date, no date versions, a couple different sizes. Overall, a great package for $750. All right, so last but not least here, I'd like to focus on a dress watch. And we have about $500 to play with, but we don't even need all of that budget, because the watch I'm going to pick here is the Orient Bambino, but specifically the Solar Quartz version that I think not a lot of people talk about. Some of you guys might actually be surprised to find out that they made a Solar Quartz version of the Orient Bambino, and that's because the release went really under the radar last year for whatever reason. But I think this watch is really spectacular for a couple of different reasons. Number one, this watch actually does not have a date window, and that makes it the only Orient Bambino without a date window. So that is really, really cool for me, especially because I really don't like date windows on my watches, especially on dress watches. I don't know why a dress watch would ever need one, so I love that this one doesn't have it. And number two, I think the Solar Quartz movement is actually really convenient for a dress watch as well. If you're like me, you're not really wearing dress watches that often, so it's nice to just have one with a 6-month power reserve that you can just keep in your box and kind of grab it whenever, and you know it's going to be accurate in terms of time. You don't have to manually wind it and set it to the right time. You just grab it and go, and that's really great. One other cool thing to note is that there are some really nice dial options with this watch. There's a really nice light pink and light blue to look at, but also you have your kind of standard cream and black dials as well. So definitely some nice variation here and a great watch for the collection. And one final thing to note is that this watch is pretty affordable. If you're willing to go gray, you can get it for about $150 on Joma Shop, but it's also on sale on Orient's website for about $250. So yeah, pretty good deal in my opinion for a watch of this caliber. But yeah, that's pretty much the collection. We went with the Traska Commuter for the everyday watch, the Baltic Aquascaphe MK2 for the dive watch, and the Orient Bambino Solar Quartz for the dress watch. So let me know what you think. This collection I think is pretty solid and still maintains that under $2,000 budget by actually a decent margin. I liked picking some kind of different pieces here than your standard watches you might see in a lot of different collections. So yeah, let me know what you think. Love to see what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you can give this video a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.